Hello, my dear students. Let us continue with the rectangular combined footing. A rectangular combined footing is provided if both columns carry equal loads. You can see here, these are the columns and this is the load acting on the column. The design of rigid rectangular combined footing consists in determining the location of center of gravity of the column loads and using length and width dimensions such that centroid of the footing and the center of the gravity of column loads coincide. Okay, so here the design of this rectangular combined footing mainly involves the determining the location of center of gravity of the column loads and also using length and width dimensions such that centroid of the footing and the centroid of the gravity of the column should coincide. Okay, here the resulting pressure distribution will be rectangular as shown in the figure. You can see here this is a pressure distribution for the rectangular combined footing. Okay, so how you can calculate the intensity of the pressure? Q is equal to P1 plus P2 divided by B. P1 is the load acting on the column 1 and P2 is the load acting on the column 2 and B is the width of the foundation. Okay, so the pressure intensity can be calculated using this formula. The column loads may be considered to be concentrated loads and the resulting shear force and bending moment diagram can be plotted. The maximum bending moment should be adopted as the design value for the reinforced concrete footing, which should also be checked for maximum shear and bend, etc. Here, this is a loading pressure distribution diagram. Okay. This is a P1 acting here and P2 is acting here. This is column 1 C1 and this is column 2 C2. So, P1 is equal to pressure intensity. Okay, this is equal to P1 divided by C1 and this is P2 intensity of the pressure, that is equal to P2 divided by C2. Okay, this is the length of the footing. Now you can draw the shear force diagram for this. It looks like this. Okay, and bending moment diagram is like this. So this is about rectangular combined footing. If it is asked to find or asked to draw the design the rectangular combined footing, you have to do like this. I mean using this formula, that is pressure intensity is equal to this P1 plus P2 divided by B. Using this formula you can design the rectangular combined footing. Okay, next let us discuss about trapezoidal combined footing. You can see here this is a trapezoidal combined footing when the two column loads are unequal with the outer column carrying heavier load and when there is a space limitation beyond the outer column, a trapezoidal combined footing is provided. Okay, and the resulting pressure distribution is linear and not rectangular as shown in the figure. This is a linear pressure distribution diagram. It is not in rectangular shape. Okay, so this is the column 1 and this is column 2 and here this width is B and this is the depth of the column. Okay, and in order to find widths A and B, here the following relations can be used. You have to calculate what is A and B here. So for that you can use this equation. A is equal to A plus B divided by 2 into L, that is equal to P1 plus P2 divided by QS. Okay, so if you write in terms of A plus B, then what happens? A plus B, that is equal to 2 goes this side, 2 divided by L into P1 plus P2 divided by QS. So using this relationship you can find what is A and B. Okay, so after that what you have to do, you where QS is allowable soil pressure. Okay, here in this equation QS is allowable soil pressure and P1 and P2 are the load acting on the column 1 and 2 respectively. So also if you take moments about the center of the column, okay, column 1, then what this equation becomes means P1 plus P2 into X bar, that is equal to P2 into L1, okay, or X bar is equal to P2 into L1 divided by P1 plus P2. First you have to take moment about the center of the column 1. Then that equation becomes P1 plus P2 into X bar, that is equal to P2 into L1. So if you write in terms of X dash, not X bar, X dash is equal to P2 L1 divided by P1 plus P2. So X bar, that is equal to C1 divided by 2 plus P2 into L1 divided by P1 plus P2. Okay, you just remember this, how to calculate. This derivation is not required. X bar is equal to C1 divided by 2 plus P2 L1 divided by P1 plus P2. But for a trapezoidal section, X bar, that is given by this equation. X bar is equal to L divided by 3 into 2A plus B divided by A plus B. So using this equation you can calculate what is X bar. So if you equate both the equations, then what you will get, this X bar and this X bar. If you equate that, L by 3 into 2A plus B divided by A plus B, that is equal to C1 divided by 2 plus P2 L1 divided by P1 plus P2. So if you simplify this, you get this equation 2A plus B divided by A plus B equal to 3 divided by L into C1 divided by 2 plus P2 L1 divided by P1 plus P2. Okay, so this is a pressure distribution diagram for the trapezoidal footing. This is a footing details, okay, pressure distribution, and this is a shear force diagram, and this is bending moment diagram. Now if you knowing A and B, the pressure intensities Q1 and Q2 are calculated as under. That is, Q1 is equal to B into QS and Q2 is equal to A into QS. The bending moment and shear force diagram can be drawn, and for rectangular combined footing, X bar is equal to L by 2. This I have not mentioned in the rectangular combined footing, so you just remember X bar for rectangular footing is L by 2, but for trapezoidal footing it is X bar is equal to this equation. Okay, so if A equal to 0, then we have a triangle. Suppose this is a rectangle, a trapezoidal, here. Okay, this is a trapezoidal. If it is A equal to 0, then this takes like this shape, right? Because this is 0, this length will not be there, so it becomes like this. So it takes the triangular shape. Okay, so we have a triangular, then X bar is equal to, that's why X bar is equal to L by 3. Hence a trapezoidal combined footing solution exists between the following limits, that is L by 3 less than X bar less than L by 2. So this means the trapezoidal combined footing lies between this limit L by 3 to L by 2. Okay, so this is about trapezoidal footing. You have to remember all these things. Okay, main thing is first A plus B, that is equal to 2 divided by L into P1 plus P2 divided by QS. This you have to remember, and this X bar also you have to remember. And then this Q1 is equal to B into QS and Q2 is equal to A into QS. So it lies between the value L by 3 to L by 2. So this is about trapezoidal footing. Next, let us discuss about the strap or cantilever footing. When two isolated footings are combined by a beam with a view to sharing the loads of both the columns by the footings, the footing is known as strap footing. Okay, here the isolated footings are combined by a beam. That beam is called as a strap. Okay, so when the two isolated footings are combined by a beam with a view to sharing the loads of both the columns by footings, the footing is known as strap footing. The connecting beam is designated as a strap beam. These footings are required if the loads are heavy on columns and the areas of foundation are not overlapping with each other. Okay, so such conditions, the strap footing or cantilever footing is provided. A strap footing consists of spread footings of two columns connected by a strap beam. The strap is assumed to be infinitely stiff and serves to transfer the column loads onto the soil with equal and uniform soil pressure under both footings. A strap footing is used where the distance between the columns is so great that the combined trapezoidal footing becomes quite narrow with high bending moments. The strap beam does not remain in contact with the soil and thus does not transfer any pressure to the soil. It consists of two isolated footings connected with a structural strap or a lever as shown in the figure. The strap connects the footing such that they behave as one unit. The strap simply acts as a connecting beam. A strap footing is more economical than a combined footing when the allowable soil pressure is relatively high and distance between the column is large. You can see here, okay, this is a strap. You can see this is a strap, okay. Strap beam. This is a strap beam. These two are the columns connected by a beam-like structure that is called as a strap beam. Okay. Property line. So there is a property line is very close to the column load. This footing can be recommended. Okay. These are all the straps. It is connected. See here also. Here also, here also. These are the two columns. This is connected by a strap. These are the two footings connected by a strap. Strap beam. Column A, column B, footing of column B, footing of column A. This is connected by a beam, strap beam. Figure shows the assumed loading and reaction for a strap footing. The reactions R1 and R2 act centrally over the length L1 and L2, giving a uniform pressure distribution. Okay. This is P1, P2, column C1 and column 2C2, and R1 and R2 are the reactions, act centrally over the length L1 and L2. Now let us see how to design this footing. First, taking moment about P2. So R1 is equal to P1 L divided by L dash, and R1 plus R2 is equal to P1 plus P2. So you just remember this L1, that is equal to 2 into E plus C1 divided by 2, and B is equal to R1 divided by L1 into QS. The design procedure is essentially based on trial and error. Okay, you have to start with the trial value of E, so that L1 can be calculated using this equation and B can be calculated using this equation. Now L2 can be calculated by P2 divided by B into QS. So now you know how to calculate L, L1, L2. Based on this, L dash can be calculated, and hence R1 and R2 can be calculated. So R1, that is also equal to B into L1 into QS, and R2 is equal to QS into L2 into B. I hope all of you understood. Thank you.